In this episode of the Great Aussie Build-Off powered by Sparesbox and eBay, we start modifications on our FG XR8 ute. Now, if you watched the first episode of this series, you'll know the premise for the build. Sparesbox have given us an FG XR8 ute, and they've given Benny's Custom Works an SS VE Commodore ute. And the whole idea is that we modify them in a good old-fashioned build-off, and then we test them at the end to see who has built the better car. Now, there is two catches to this project. One, we can only buy parts from eBay. And two, we don't know what the tests at the end are. Now, I'm guilty of using the word eBay attached to certain parts to be a negative connotation. You've heard it all before, eBay manifold, eBay turbo, etc. But that's a little bit unfair on eBay because it's not actually them that makes the parts. There are plenty of great resellers on eBay, including Sparesbox, and there are plenty of awesome parts, both OEM and aftermarket, to help you build your car. Because let's face it, we've all bought parts from eBay before. So what is the build plan for our XR8? Well, it follows the usual Motiv video path. Firstly, we're going to upgrade the power with a supercharger kit. Secondly, we need to upgrade all of the support gear so that we can make that power reliably. We want to upgrade our brakes so we can stop. And we also want to make sure that we upgrade the handling so that we can make the most of that power. And we do that by modifying the suspension, wheels, and tyres. So this plan is simple in theory, but the hard part is knowing exactly which parts to choose to go together as a cohesive package. And that takes experience modifying this model of car. Speaking of getting advice, it's time to phone a friend on this build. First up, Grub from Impossible Fabrication, who you know from our Day Job series will be helping with the build. We're also getting Jeremy from Empire Mechanical and Racing to come and help us out on the build for a little while, as he has worked on quite a lot of FG XR8 utes. First up, we're going to pull the engine out of the car so we can install a billet oil pump gear, install the extractors, and install an upgraded clutch to handle the power later. But the best thing about pulling the engine out now is it allows us to look over the whole car, find out every little thing we need so we can start ordering parts from eBay. Let's go. This car's gonna be one of those cars. Everything's gonna be cross-threaded, rusted, so tight it doesn't come off. You name it. It's gonna be that car. You watch. Now, one of the big reasons I wanted Jeremy here from Empire to pull this car apart is not just so it would save us time getting the engine out and getting things apart, because he's done it all before. It's actually finding out what's wrong with the car quickly and easily so we can order new stuff. And he's found a bit, right? Yeah. Wheel bearings shot.
Top arms. My personal favourite.
They're shot.
They're shot.
So suspension bushes basically need replacing, which I kind of figured with its age it would. Wheel bearings are gone. And I take it once the engine's out, we'll probably find a few more things that need replacing, right?
Definitely.
So that's why sometimes I say it's best to get everything out, inspect the car properly, then go order exactly what you need, rather than order what you think and realise you don't have most of it. Is that right?
100%.
All right, let's keep going. Nearly out, right?
Let's go.
if you ever want proof that you should dial a friend when it comes to working on a new type of car for the very first time, it took us 3.5 hours to get the engine out of the Falcon. Jeremy told us that if Grub and I did it ourselves, 8 to 12 hours, just purely because we've never done it before and you're trying to work it out as you go. Now you're probably wondering, why did we pull the engine out of the Falcon to modify it if we're not rebuilding the engine? Well, essentially it's such a big and difficult engine to work around that it's just easier to pull it out to do half the things we need to do. Now we already know we're going to put an aftermarket extractors and aftermarket exhaust on, and it's so difficult to do that in the car, might as well pull it out. We know we want to change the clutch. And it also enabled us to discover a bunch of other little things with the car that we may not have discovered in the car that we now need to order for it. And essentially, well, that's the point I'm at now. I can go off and order all of the little things that we need for the car. And the fact that Jeremy from Empire was here and has seen the car, he was able to guide us a little bit further on what we're going to need for our XR8. So, start ordering parts, shall we?
Finding parts on eBay is rather straightforward. You can search the conventional way by typing in what you want, or you can shop by category and put in the make and model of car you have to help narrow it down. You can then look one category at a time to find what you need. The other option is to go straight to the eBay store of a reputable seller such as Sparesbox to look for the parts that you want. Our first step with the XR8 was some upgrades and preventative maintenance before we supercharged the car later. We needed all new fluids from Nulon, oil and fuel filters, new cam cover gaskets, belts and various seals, new engine and gearbox mounts. We ordered a full Manta exhaust system including extractors, and we needed an upgraded clutch to handle the future power levels. We also ordered an Empire Elite Performance Parts billet oil pump backing plate, and new timing chain kit to help handle the future power levels. We sent the engine to the guys at Empire Mechanical and Racing to install them and get the engine ready to go back in the car. As we were using Sparesbox's eBay account to purchase parts, they collected all of them for us before they delivered them all over in one go.
All right, the engine is back from Empire with a fresh timing chain and upgraded billet oil pump and a few other little upgrades. Jeremy won't give away every secret. We've got a whole bunch of new parts here thanks to eBay and Sparesbox, so it's time to put them in and get this thing running again. Alright, so the engine mounts at first glance actually looked alright, but look at the top, they're all cracked. One of them's actually shrunken. It's been compressed as the engine turns over. Cut that open and there's fluid in there. So yeah, at first glance engine mounts can be alright, but then on closer inspection, hammered, absolutely hammered. And if we're going to make some more grunt, no good, bin.
Kick it in the guts, bro.
Alright.
Let's go. I'm ready when you are, then.
Oh, turn the key. Nothing happened.
Oh. Okay.
I'll try again. Sick of this car!
Well, that brings us to the end of stage 1 of our XR8 Ute build. Essentially, our goal for this episode was to get the car ready for forced induction later. We had the engine out and off to Empire so they could do the billet oil pump, backing plate, timing chain, and a few other things that needed replacing. We got it back, we put in a twin plate clutch, new gearbox and engine mounts, we gave it all fresh Nulon fluids, new filters, etc., and basically ready to move forward to turn it into a reverse mullet, which is party up the front, business in the back. So we want plenty of power under the hood, but the ability to still carry hay bales or VB in the back. Now, after this, we're going to be doing suspension and brakes in our next episode before we then get into forced induction, the episode after that, plus all of the testing and development, and then we have our final showdown with Benny's Commodore Ute. Now, if you want to see how he is going, head over to his YouTube channel and subscribe. Benny's Custom Works. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the action from our great Aussie build-off presented by eBay and Sparesbox.